Hi everyone, it's Megan with Imagine That and More, and I'm over at my studio today. You can see over, it's just east of Cam's Corner, and I'm working on my APQS Millie, doing a job for a friend of mine. Her name's Laura Osierno. She made this beautiful Bearclaw quilt, and I am in the process of quilting it. It's been so much fun, and I just love working with Laura because she lets me kind of do whatever I want, and she doesn't expect perfection. She loves beauty. So I really like working on her creations, and this is going to go to her sister. So one of the things Laura asked me is she really wanted these bear claws to puff up. So you can see I did an outline. I found that if I do the outline a 1/4 inch away from the seam, it actually puffs it more than doing a stitch in the ditch. So that's what I did. The only thing I got to thinking is I'm not 100% sure I'm loving the bear claws having nothing in them, even though she's using good batting. So I don't necessarily see you can see they're not real big. But I'm thinking when it washes, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to love it. But I'm afraid that if I quilt in there, when you start quilting in things, it gets more dense and then it pushes the batting down. So the things that aren't quilted tend to come forward. So what I decided to do is I am going to do a mock one over to the side. So I took this piece of fabric, it was scrap fabric, and I laid it over top of one of my bear claws. And I used my handy dandy magic pen, and I drew one right on here that I'm going to go ahead and stitch. So moving off to the side, and I'm going to stitch this real quick, and I am going to then do a design on the inside and I'll let you know how it goes. So I completed doing a practice one, as hopefully you can see it here. And I drew it out as you saw, and then originally I thought I might do something kind of just to outline this, but it looks so pointy. So I decided to do a little heart with some wings and another heart sitting on top of it. So I like it, but I'm afraid that if I were to do it everywhere, it would kind of take away from the puffiness. And so it's not completely worthy of being on every single bear claw, and it would be very time consuming. So what I think I want to do is I'm going to do it just here and there as a little accent. Laura and her family are kind of having a rough weekend, so I want to add a little bit of love to the quilt, and I think this will be a fun way to do it. So I am going to put it on some of these blocks where I know that the white thread will show up. And I've saved a block here. I'm going to advance the quilt. I love this APQS because it has this motorized technology where I can just advance the quilt to where I want it. I can go back and forth. So I'm just stepping on a foot pedal here. You can see it's rolling it right up for me. Where I want it to be. So here's the block that we're going to work on. And I've quilted kind of up around it, but not completely up to it. Because I thought maybe you would want to see me outlining it as well. So I don't want to draw on every single one of these. And I get a little nervous because even with the magic pen, sometimes you spray it and you get a little residue where there's a lot of stitches. So what I decided to do was take another scrap piece of fabric and draw my design on there. And I'm going to use my laser pointer. If you can see, I've attached it to the very top of my machine, and it's shining over here. And I am going to lay my design over top of the bear claw next to it. And we are going to double check here that our points are where we want them to be. Do you see how the light is going down? And it's equivalent to what I'm drawing on my piece. So it's not going to be exact, but it's going to be close. We just want to make sure our little hearts don't end up hitting any of the edges. So I feel like that's close enough. But the very first thing I'm going to do on this Bearclaw is I'm going to do an outline so that we can get it to puff up real nice. So you can see I'm actually starting right at about a 1/4 inch away both directions. And I'm using my Quilter Select ruler, which I absolutely adore. It has 2 little finger holes and it's got grip on the back. So because I want these to be puffed up, I actually am kind of almost like pushing a little fabric there. Give it, oops, let's give it. I'm going to do this in my stitch regulated mode. And I'm going to go past here. Go all the way around. Now here where we've lost a little bit of our corner, I'm still going to give this a nice point because I want it to still look pointed. If anything, it'll look like it's going over the edge, you know, when it puffs up. So we're just going to pretend as if. So you'll see, in order to get a 1/4 inch away, I'm setting my ruler right up on the edge there. But when I go this direction, I'm not, you could do it this way, but I'm not comfortable. I always kind of mess up. So instead, I'm gonna go until the edge of this foot hits this, and then I'm gonna eyeball it. Give myself a nice big point there. And now we're back to where we started from. It looks like we moved a little bit, so. Oh, actually we did not move. Can you stop it? So now that we're back at this corner, we're actually gonna start using our laser light. But just to make sure that nothing moves, I'm gonna put a little pin in our template so that it doesn't get bumped along the way. And you can even pin over your design a little because you're just going over it with the laser light. It's not gonna matter. So you can see that we're actually a 1/4 inch off of here, which is why our laser light isn't exactly on the point. So don't let that freak you out. So from here on out, I'm gonna be quilting here, but for the most part, my eyes are gonna be on the drawing because wherever I go with the laser, it's gonna mirror it with my stitch. And what made me think of doing this today is actually a video that I had watched with Lauren Jackson from Bold Notion Quilting, where she demonstrates this exact technique. So today I was like, oh, I really was inspired by that. And if I can find it, I'll post it, the link for that underneath there because Lauren has a lot of great ideas. So here we go. We're gonna start doing our heart. We're gonna go up in. Oops. And I'll follow right along on this line here. Back down. And then we're gonna go here. I'm gonna make up my little loop. And I'll follow. And here, if you can see, we have the heart. Now, in order to get back to my wing, I need to trace back up, but I would recommend you actually look at the quilt this time when you're following until you get to this point. It'll help you be able to retrace that line a little better. You can see we're hitting here. So now I'm looking back at my drawing. Okay. So right before we stopped, I ran out of bobbin. You'll remember we traced this up here, and you can see it over here. We're gonna go just a little farther till I get to the wing. And now we're gonna trace go back over here. So I'm gonna follow, my eyes are gonna return to the quilt. Just so I can follow this line until I get to the actual point. And then I'm looking at the heart that's drawn again. And it doesn't have to be exact. It's not gonna matter if it's perfect because nobody else can see your drawing. Trace until we get to our second wing. A little light, follow it. And then I'm looking back at the quilt as I follow my heart around so that we can get off the edge. And there you have it. You've got a beautiful little heart. And we can take the same drawing, and I'm going to use it again up over probably in this block. And I'm thinking about maybe one of these, maybe even the gray one. So I think it's gonna make a really beautiful quilt for Lauren's idea for Laura. And then I'm gonna show you just a little bit of me doing some of our swirls around so you can get an idea of what I was doing. I like to work in manual for this part because I think that it gives me a little bit more flow. Getting too close here because I'm going to be doing a line around there, so just kind of stay in the vicinity. I love swirls. Anyone who knows me, it's kind of like my signature thing. Put a couple little leaves in there. So this direction. Now I like to do some stuff right up against the line because I feel like it's going to make it even puffier. Do a little bit tighter quilting in that area. And you can see I had started to outline here. So I'm going right up to there. I'm going to take it back into regulated mode because that way with my ruler I can start and stop without putting a zillion stitches in. Show you a picture of the quilt when the whole thing is finished.